Fire, fire, fire. God
$800 hydraulic handbrake
versus $1,500 hydraulic handbrake.
Does more expensive really mean more better?
Let's find out. That was one for the books, dude. That was one of the best ones we've ever done.
We bought two nearly identical Nissan 350Zs, then we modified them to fun daily drivers you can take to the track.
And then we broke them.
Yeah, and now we're transforming them to be fun daily drivers that you can go drifting in.
In theory, one Z gets expensive parts.
And one Z gets cheap parts.
And then we test them to find out which components are worth spending your hard-earned money on.
This was a great decision.
Last time we added drift-specific suspension kits to both Zs, which lets us fine-tune our geometry and make them nice and slidey.
But today, we're taking it one step further to be the slidiest boys that ever did slid.
We're adding the final variable to our drift equation, hydraulic handbrakes.
This ain't your mom's e-brake.
What do you mean it's not my mom's e-brake?
Well, Nolan, I'm glad you asked. Your mom's e-brake usually uses a cable to lock the rear wheels up. But they're not built to be constantly abused and can be unreliable and inconsistent for drifting. Plus, a lot of times they're placed really awkwardly, like in these cars.
Hydraulic handbrakes operate completely independently from the car's braking system. They have their own brake fluid reservoir, rear brake caliper, and new, bigger brake lever, allowing you to lock the rear wheels with a quick flick of the wrist, making it much easier to initiate a drift. Plus, they look sick.
They look really sick.
Here at Low Team, we spent $740 on a universal handbrake. Pretty basic.
It's all you need. It's a pipe with a nice finish.
Mounting plates, some performance brake pads, a rear caliper bracket,
Which High Team doesn't need since our sick new suspension kit from our last video already included an additional mount.
here's our stock brake caliper, which we'll be installing on there.
So this is in addition to the stock caliper that's already on there.
Yes.
So you're gonna have two big old calipers
Yes.
on the back of your car. It's a lot of weight on one. That's a lot of weight.
Yes, you're gonna have a lot of weight.
I think mine are lighter.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
We got a Willwood brake reservoir here. That's pretty nice.
That's top tier.
That's a name I recognize. That's cool. That goes right in there. And some GK Tech brake lines as well.
Where are you pulling that out? Like a Mary Poppins bag?
I still have my secrets, James.
I think for most people, this is what you would go for, $750, and you've upped your game immensely.
Yeah.
Now let's see what twice as much money gets you. My team is getting $1,500 worth of top tier handbrake parts, including a Sicky Handbrake Kit. It's sick. It's in the name. I don't make the rules. The grip looks like a freaking cleaver. It looks like a nice chef's knife. We also got mounting plates, brake lines, and 4-piston Willwood calipers and pads to match our current brake setup.
That's just over the top.
A 4-piston e-brake, dude.
It's just excessive, James. Should we compare the weights?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Is it?
Yeah. This is aluminum.
And that's like
this is
cast.
pig metal. Hold mine.
Okay, that's pretty light. That's pretty good. Yeah. Stupid cast iron.
It's what you call distribution, weight distribution.
Obviously, your parts are a lot nicer and cooler looking, but I think functionally they'll probably perform similarly enough. I don't think that it's gonna perform twice as better.
Twice as better?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
All right, so we're inside low car, and as you can see already, convenient. I know where it is, easy to grab. Whereas going down here, like your arm's in a weird situation, you don't want to put undue strain on your shoulders while you're in a motorsports situation. That's how you get a sports injury. We don't want that for you. So, we've got this mount plate right here. This is made by GK Tech. This is a different company. Therefore, they do not exactly mount together easily. We're gonna have to figure out a way to mount our handbrake to our mounting plate. GK Tech does make a complete kit, so you don't have to do this. But we got the cheap handbrake, so we do have to do this. As well as clear out some room in the transmission tunnel for our brake fluid reservoir. Looking forward to another long day. Only a few more days, Nolan. Only a few more days.
Okay. Okay, so here I have a stock rear caliper for any Z, and this fancy GK Tech adapter kit just allows us to bolt another one on. It came with new hardware and everything. So then all we would have to do is plumb in the hydraulic line to the e-brake. I think this is pretty cool and worth every penny. It looks OEM, right?
Yeah. Can you imagine the insurance premiums on a car that came with 2 calipers on the rear? Big thanks to K&N for sponsoring today's video. K&N is all about performance unlimited with upgrades that are simple to install and even custom designed to fit all makes and models. And from June 15th to July 26th, you can get $50 off air intakes. K&N Performance air intake systems deliver horsepower when it matters most. They're engineered to last a lifetime and manufactured to hold up to the demands of your daily grind or weekend adventure. We like K&N so much, we even use them in our personal cars, like this one and this one.
That's great, but you should take it from me, James, from High Team. We like K&N filters so much, we use them on all our cars, like this one, or this one.
I literally just said that.
Yeah, but it sounds better when High Team says it. We are everyone's favorite Z.
And you need to go to knfilters.com/donut to get $50 off air intakes from June 15th to July 26th, or just click the link below to get performance unlimited for your car, just like us.
Since we're replacing the knuckle in all of our suspension bits with WiseFab stuff, it actually comes with 2 locations for mounting brake calipers. So we're set up to do a second caliper for our handbrake, except for one thing. The brackets for the wheel woods don't quite line up with the WiseFab stuff. There's a little bit of interference with the bracket and these ears on both of them. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of trimming to the brackets. It's gonna take a little time, but it's gonna be cool once it's all done.
There we go.
Okay, we're back in the car. Let's test fit the one-piece handbrake bracket combo.
Oh, it doesn't sound like a VQ anymore, it's more like bop, bop. Sick, dude. We've come a long way. You know, there's been a lot of shots of you shooting through the window at me where I'm usually mad.
You getting on?
No.
And right now I'm feeling pretty good. The center console box opens. Dude, this is sick. This is gonna be sweet.
All right, so I whipped up a little bracket here for the master cylinder for the handbrake, and basically we just need to weld it to the tunnel here now.
Now I can go do some skids.
Skids for the kids. That's my new charity. Please donate. Gotta scrape out all the seam sealer and all the flammable stuff, then sand off the remaining paint so we get some bare metal. You know the drill. You guys have been here before. Oops. Fire, fire, fire. God f***ing. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're nice and straight in line with the handbrake, so our rod will connect well. And I'm lined up with this hole in the bulkhead here so I can run my line right out that, down the bottom to the brakes. Now we're just gonna shorten our rod so the length is right. Whoa, buddy, that's what happens. I didn't turn on the gas. What a boner I am. Okay, we shortened up this rod and now it should fit. And then it's just time to do the lines. The most boring, worst part. Ugh. Boring, dirty. I think I'm gonna quit. Yeah, I'm out of here. It's been real, you guys. Have a good life. Bye.
Oh, I'm gonna loosen it up a little bit. Ow. Maybe I should have done this before I put the caliper on. Another nice and convenient thing about this GK Tech kit, the lines are labeled. It's a T-piece, it's a caliper. There's no guessing. I'm using our old e-brake line as a pathway for our brand new Hydro e-brake line. That way we have no issues with clearance or anything because it's just following something the manufacturer originally installed on the vehicle. So in theory, should be no problems at all. We should be good to go as soon as I hang this thing up.
In order to feed the line that Justin has so cleanly placed under the car, we gotta drill a fat freaking hole in our transmission tunnel so we can feed the line up through. Look at that.
Good spot.
Clean.
All right, watch those edges though.
Yep. And once we install it to the handbrake, we can cover it with the center console and it will look very clean.
Oh God, that stinks. Oh. What's up, Nolan?
Jimmy found a perfect grommet.
Oh wow, I can see it.
I was like, what the f? I was like trusting you as the director to. I was like, I guess he needs that shot real bad.
Yahtzee. Okay, we got a path. Now we just got to put the parts through it.
Thought you said you were gonna leave. Change your mind?
Yeah, I don't know where I am. I didn't really have anywhere to go. I just came back. I was hoping you'd forget. Just keep pushing and eventually, it will go. You see how I do that with my hand all wonky just to give you the shot? You see that, Phil? You know how much I care about you. Okay, that'll work. The lines are run. Now I need to tighten up all my fittings, make sure we don't have any leaks, and then it's time for fluid and bleeding. Bleeding sucks. Any way you think about it. Bleeding your blood, not really usually very fun. Bleeding breaks, not a good time. If only we didn't need to bleed.
All right, let me fill it. We're going to add fluid to the hydraulic braking system, but in order to get fluid in, you have to bleed the air out of it so that it works effectively. Holding.
Okay, cracking.
So the idea is to keep pumping this handle, and then the fluid inside the reservoir goes down into the lines, pushing the air out where Nolan's bleeding it on the caliper.
And closed. I think we're probably, let's do one more.
Hold on, I gotta top it off.
Okay. And we want to go until this line is totally free of bubbles coming out. Otherwise your pedal's gonna feel a little spongy.
All right, I'm pumping.
Okay, opening and closed. And that is a job done. Heck yeah, boys.
Okay, the handbrake is fully installed. It feels awesome. All the lines are run, the calipers are on, and we bled everything. So, feels like it should work, but I mean, we should test it, right? I'm gonna start the car, put it in first gear, get the rear wheels spinning, and then put the clutch in so they're just kind of coasting. Then I'll yank the handbrake, and the wheels should come to a screeching halt. I mean, after all, I installed this shit, so. Did it work?
Yep.
Hell yeah, let's go skid. We loaded up and headed out to the track for our final testing day with the now fully drift ready Z's. Today it was back to the skid pad for some super slidey tests and comparisons.
Time to test our handbrakes. Down there is a Nolan in a low car. Right here is a line. Nolan is gonna try and lock up the tires of that car as close to this line as possible. Then we're gonna do it. And whoever's closer wins.
It looked like his rear tires locked up the second he pulled the stick, which is what you want. I'm sure you guys are as impressed as me. Their handbrake works, and it looks like it works good.
That was just with a single piston caliper. So I'm really curious to see how Highcar's 4-piston handbrake works by comparison.
Time to see how Highcars does. I think it's taking a while to engage.
Well, with a lot of force, it seems to work. Nolan, how much effort would you say it took you?
And I mean, it was pretty much as soon as you pull it, you feel resistance and you trust it.
I think yours works with a lot less effort. Once we get back to the shop, I do want to dig into it and see if we can get it to be a little bit better. As it turns out, our massive 4-piston calipers were a bit more than our handbrake could handle. The force of me pulling on the lever was spread out over a wider area, so the rear wheels were a little bit sluggish in coming to a complete stop. But it still worked way better than the stock handbrake that was in Hycar. That's both hands pulling. It don't work. So, to see who would fare better in a real-life drifting scenario, we set up this reincarnation of the buff horseshoe from last season.
It's kind of like the final showdown here between low car and high car.
As a control, each car would initiate a slide without the handbrake, and then they'd run it a second time and initiate with the handbrake.
We're gonna see if we can see a difference. He's gonna see if he can feel the difference.
And we're just gonna try to see which one looks cooler.
I mean, that's really what drifting is about.
It really
what
is.
looks cooler.
Go kick a clutch.
That was pretty sick.
Well, that was pretty good. Now let's see what low team can do.
All right, Nolan.
He nailed it.
Did pretty well without the handbrake.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's any cleaner or easier with a handbrake.
That was cool. I think it looked cooler because he locked it up and then went to the oversteer. So it was like, it was a drift, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the handbrake feels a little bit lazy, to be honest with you. So the entry wasn't as sharp as I'd like, you know, where you kick out nice and strong, but it worked. I think his e-brake initiation is going to go a little bit smoother than mine. Really had to yank on it to get it out, which kind of sucks. Damn, dude. That's my boy. You saw those rear tires just lock up just like you want, and then he just coaxed it right through.
The transition from handbrake sliding to getting on the power and having the rear step out feels really natural. I feel like I got pretty close to the cones. Had decent angle. This thing rules. Drifting is awesome. I want to do it again.
Boys, does more expensive mean more better?
I don't think so. I don't really think so.
Unfortunately, I wanted to.
Thank you for watching this video and every other video on Donut Media. We're making stuff all the time, and you should make stuff. Go to a garage and get a wrench and some friends. Call your mom. She misses you.
Hey, since this is the high-low finale, we designed a super cool poster with the help of Subclass. Super low price point so everyone can have it. Put it on your shop wall, put it on your bedroom wall, wherever. Get yours today. High-low, baby. Thank you so much for watching.